Allah Yahweh Shemel Shah. Yahweh Shemel Shah. Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
And I saw heaven opened, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
The Israelites told me this day would come. I didn't listen.
Oh my God!
What is that thing? And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them, and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shah.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for us younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutation to the whole elect out there pushing his word and truth and their sincerity across the four winds. In the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shah. All right, and what I want to get into with this lesson, dealing with the only thing left is the end. The only thing left, okay, within everything that's happening is the end. You see, Esau, Edom, he's scrambling, to prevent the end of his kingdom. Okay, and the Lord is bringing the end of his kingdom. Okay, and this devil, he's scrambling, to keep us in captivity, but the Lord is getting ready to end our captivity, man. Because what's happening is above the authority and power of, Esau, man. Okay, because his power and authority was given to him by the power that's going to end his rulership and end our captivity. Okay, so Esau, Edom, everything that he's doing is in vain. Okay, everything that he's trying to do, and we keep up with what this nigga is doing because of the sake of prophecy, man. Because this tells us where we at, how close we are. All right, and this devil is full body. He has all chips in on this AI, on this technocracy, on the data centers. Okay, he has all chips in, to use this technology to try to undermine the Most High, to try to extend his rulership and try to keep the masses in slavery unto him forever, man. Okay, well, no, the Lord is finna end everything that this man is trying to establish. Okay, what we're seeing, all right, is a vain attempt is to try to upset prophecy, okay, by Esau, man. And even him trying to do that is within prophecy. Okay, so when you read 1 Peter 4:7, but the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Okay, So the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. You see, be sober and watch unto prayer. So we should be level headed and we should watch what's happening and stay in prayer, man. You know, we at the end. You know, this is it, man. Okay. Hey, the Lord finna end this world. He's finna end this age, man. You see? The Lord finna end our captivity, man. These are all promises, man. This is all the will of Yahweh Bashim Shai. So the only thing left, okay, is the end. All right. And the end consists of two main things: the end of our captivity and the end of Esau rulership, man. Okay. And these next few prophecies, man, the civil unrest, okay, which is leading to the mandated MOTB and this third world war, okay, that's gonna be the end. That's gonna be the cutting, all right, asunder of time. That's gonna divide the age of Esau, all right, and the age of Jacob is this third world war. It's gonna end the age of Esau and begin the age of Jacob, man. Okay, which is gonna be established through Yahweh Shai, all right, establishing the throne of David in the earth forever, man. Okay, so let's go here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, and verse 8. It says, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. You see that? Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit. Okay, and who's the patient in spirit? The hopeful elect. You know, as we patiently await for these things to be fulfilled, for these prophecies to be fulfilled, man. We patiently wait for the judgment of Yahweh Bashim Shai. You know, we patiently wait for these things. You know, the Lord, He said what the Lord has said what He's going to do. Now, just a thing of having faith and patiently waiting on Him, man, because it's on His timing. Okay, but better is the end, okay, of our captivity than the beginning of it, man. You know, better is the end of Esau's rulership than the beginning. Okay, because in the end, this devil is judged. He's taken away from power, okay, and he's put into captivity. And then after 1,000 years, it's gonna be an actual end to Edomites, okay, in existence, man. They're gonna be done away with, okay. And this man has a proud spirit. You see, we're going to fare better. The hopeful elect, the patient in spirit is going to far better, way more than the proud in spirit, man. Okay, because the eternal kingdom that he's trying to establish, you know, through witchcraft, okay, through technology, okay, well, we're going to get that in righteousness, man. Okay, we're going to get an eternal righteous rulership, man. And this devil is going to get a hard, rigorous 1,000 years of captivity and exterminated, man. You know, so our situation is way better, man. We're in the best place to be in. You know, we are in the best place to be in through Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, so let's go from there. You know, because I said the only thing left, okay, is for Yahweh Shai to return. You see, that's what everything leads up to, is the return of Yahweh Shai. You know, and Yahweh Shai told us, look, when we see, you know, particular things happening, let's see, is it here? Matter of fact, let me read into it. Okay. This is Luke 21 and 20. Well, let me jump up. Okay, this is Luke 21 and 24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And this is the fall of us in 70 AD. Okay, when the Romans, you know, rolled on Jerusalem. Okay, you had those wars between, you know, the Zealots, the Zachari, and the Roman legions. Okay, and eventually led to us, you know, a lot of our people being put to death, crucified, dying of famine, you know, in their siege. Okay, and a lot of our people fled. Okay, and that was us falling by the edge of the sword of the Romans. All right, these Edomites. You see, and it would eventually lead to us, the places even where we were scattered, where eventually the Lord, send Esau and the Renaissance, to scatter us throughout the earth in captivity, man. Okay, mainly over here to the Western Hemisphere, and then you had the sub-Saharan slave trade, which pushed a lot of us to the east. That's why we're scattered throughout the four winds of the earth. You see, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles, man. These heathens, all right, will gain possession of our land. Okay, as you see right now, they're warring, over Jerusalem, and they got, they opposing this, talking about this two-state solution between, Ishmael and Amalek, over Jerusalem. Nah, man. Okay, that ain't for y'all, man. Y'all just there for a time. That's why I say until the times of the Gentiles, which is the actual heathens. See, this Gentiles in this context is talking about the actual heathens. A lot of times in the New Testament, we know that it's speaking of Israelites when it speaks about Gentiles and salvation and believing and following Yahushua. But when it speaks about Jerusalem being trodden down by Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled, well, these are actual heathens. Okay, in that time of them being in our land and this, this big dispute over our land, well, that's almost fulfilled because this third world war gonna clear our land out too, man. Hey, I was shopping to get both them niggas out of there, man. Okay, small tops, all right, and them goddamn Ishmaelites, okay, and whoever else, and the Lord gonna clear that land out, man, because true Israel, the elect, all right, of the true Israelites are getting ready to go back to their land, and that's why the Lord has this devil full throttle on these last few prophecies, man, because the Lord is going to fulfill that, man. Yahushua is getting ready to take us back home. You see, this is what these prophecies lead to: is Yahushua returning, conquering the earth in righteousness, getting busy with these heathens, okay, changing his elect into immortals and taking us home, man. Okay, that's what this thing is about, man. This is what we here for, man. Okay, the pettiness that these niggas be on these days, man. All right, these niggas, man. If you're having girl problems, I feel bad for you, son. You got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. These niggas around here instead of arguing like it's the late 90s with the baby mama and all. Get out of here. Okay, we finna go home. I was shopping to make us immortal, man. We're at the end of this thing, man. Okay, niggas still trying to rap. You got the husband and wife rap feud. What is niggas doing? What the hell is y'all doing in these last seconds, man? Okay, at the end of this thing, man. What the hell is you niggas doing, man? Okay, but anyway, it says, and there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations and perplexity, the sea and waves roaring, man. And we see nothing but signs in the sun, the moon, the eclipse, the blood moon, the blue moon, the pink moon. Okay, and certain planets aligning it, and this is all signs of the end. And the Lord's going to bring distress on nations, man. As the latest, you still have this energy crisis looming. They don't push it and they don't talk about it a whole lot, man. All right. But there's just still been signs, more and more signs of this energy shortage, man. Which is going to put nations in perplexity, man. There's a lot of crops that didn't get planted this year, man. So they're saying that, in the fall months, especially going into next year, you're really going to see the consequences of that, man. And Lord willing, man, Lord, because it needs to get, it's time for this shit to get bad, man, and break this bullshit up, man. It's time for things to get bad. It's time for things to get chaotic. It's time for the Lord to test his elect, man, and break this shit up, man. Okay, it says, and in the stars and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Yeah, so it's going to be perplexity, people not knowing what to do. Okay, let's go into this word perplexity, man. People not having a clue, okay, of what to do, man. Because the only people that's going to know in these times is, all right, the hopeful elect. You know, wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability. So while we have stability, okay, because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be upon his hopeful elect in these times, all right, and we're going to have stability. This is why we rehearse the righteous acts. This is why we go over prophecy, you know, daily, you know, because it's rehearsing us for these times. You see, it's rehearsing us for these times, and the Lord is going to put his Spirit on us to endure, you know, these times, man, you know, because it's going to be through his might, through his power, you know.
Strong's G 640. Aparia.
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 All right. It said the state of one who is in perplexity. You see, the state of one who is in perplexity, man. Okay. Now, when you go into the root word, this one the real definition. So we need a real.
Strong's G 639. Apareo. Apareo.
Yep, that's it. This the one. It says to be without resources, to be in straits. Okay, and you people, and guess who's going to suffer the most? The poorest of the people, man. That's why I call Jacob's trouble. You know, because the Lord is going to put emphasis on trouble on 2/3 of you niggas, on our people, man. You proud, out of pocket, rebellious. Okay, wild animal niggas and nigga women, man. Okay, to be without resources, to be in straits, to be left wanting. Okay, to be embarrassed. Ooh. And the Lord been embarrassing niggas lately, man. You know, the Lord been embarrassing niggas, man. And may it get worse, man, because one thing about it, what proud niggas hate is being embarrassed, man. That's one of the things that a nigga that's proud or people that's proud is being embarrassed, man. The Lord finna embarrass a lot of people, man. A lot of you women, even a lot of you women with head wraps on talking shit. You know, because the Lord causes certain things to happen to draw out what's really in people, man. See, one thing about Yahweh Shema Shai, you know, and he knows exactly how to cause a situation to happen to draw out what's really in you, man. You know, that's why nothing can be hidden. Okay, what's in you gonna be shown. That's another thing in these last days, man. What's really in people is gonna be shown, man. You know, can nobody fake the funk to the kingdom? You see? Okay, nobody gonna finesse their way into the kingdom. No, the Lord know the perfect event, the perfect scenario situation to draw out that bullshit that's in you, okay, and judge your ass, man. You know? And that's why we have to examine ourselves, man. Because we all got a little bullshit in us, man, that we gotta check, we gotta pray about, you know, and be honest, man. Be humble, like Lord, help me with this. Okay? Well, you think you're gonna be in the shadows and slither your way? No, man. The Lord's finna embarrass a lot of people out. There's a lot of pride, man. Everybody's so goddamn important. Everybody's so rich. Niggas move like they immortal, like they can't die. Niggas just so bold, and you see the nigga woman, man. That's a lot of people. And then Esau, hey, the Lord gonna embarrass Esau, man. Trying to be the Most High. You think this nigga gonna just go out with glory? No, Esau gonna go out in a very embarrassing fashion, man. Okay, to look foolish in these times, man. You see, he says to be in doubt, not to know which way to turn, man. Yeah, you're gonna be out of there, man. A lot of you people, hey, when these things hit, okay, a lot of you people just gonna have that 1,000-yard stare during the whole time of distress, man, to the Lord. All right, turn your lights out, man. You know, some of you gonna be reserved to the missiles. Some of you, how Shai gonna raise up just to get them missiles, man. Raise you up into them missiles, man. Okay, this is a judgment finna go for at the end of this thing, man. The only thing left is judgment, man. To be at loss with oneself, to be in doubt, not to know how to decide or what to do, to be perplexed, man. You know, this is the times we coming into, man. Okay, you niggas that think you got like an Anton Daniels type nigga. All right, you nigga women that think you got it. You still full of the pride of this world, this age, man. You're not gonna know what the fuck to do, man. You know, and the Lord gonna be tormenting your ass, man. Okay. So the only thing left is judgment. You see, there's a lot of perplexity is going to set in heavy, especially here in America, man. Because this the most proud. The scriptures call America the most proud, man. You see, and that's one of the things that the Lord hates, man. So it's going to receive the most judgment. All right, Luke 21:26. Men's heart failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Okay, the powers of heaven shall be shaken. You see, hey, these elites gonna be shaking, man. You see, these devils say the elites ain't above, all right, being terrified, man. Okay, they're mere men. You see, the power that the Lord, all right, the power that they exercise is the power that the Lord allowed these niggas to have, man. The Lord stripped them niggas from power, man. They're inferior men. Okay, the Edomite male is inferior without the power of the Lord. Okay, on the left hand side, man. You see, and the Lord's finna show that Esau Edom is inferior to him, and he's inferior in the earth, man. Okay, it says, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory, man. All right, to finish this thing out, man. Hey, Yahweh Shai coming to close this bitch out, man. You know, and we here, man. Oh, what a time. Oh, what a time, man. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Okay, and this is what we're seeing. Okay, we're getting ready to see Yahweh Shema Shai come with power and the cloud of great glory. You're getting to see Yahweh Shai, you know, because he's coming in the name and authority of his Father. But Yahweh Shai is coming in that chariot with great power. He's going to show real power, man. All right, he's going to show this fraud, this phony Esau true power, man. Okay, and he's going to judge in the earth, and he's going to show you devils how to depopulate, man. Okay, you see, Yahweh Shai coming back with a depopulation agenda at the end of this thing, man. Okay, matter of fact, because let's get it, and we'll go back to it. Okay, let's get this in Jeremiah 25. All right, Jeremiah 25 and 33. It says, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground. Okay? Matter of fact, read verse 32. Jeremiah 25 and 32. Thus said the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, which is bad time. Okay? We at the time where the Lord's finna bring bad times to the earth, man, the worst time ever, man. You see? And then we of the elect, we're going to be in the midst of it, but the Lord is going to turn to the best time ever for us, man. You know, we got to ride out the uncomfortable. You know, we got to ride that part out, you know. And it says, and a great whirlwind, which is a chariot, shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. Man, hey, the chariots are coming to invade this place, man. Okay? And ultimately, Yahweh Shai returning home is really not even an invasion. Okay? The true king is returning. Yahweh Shai, man. The true king of the earth is returning to the earth. Okay? To remove the imposters, man. You goddamn Edomites, man. Okay? And you vassals to Esau, you other nations, man. Okay? It says, and the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even to the other end of the earth. That's how Yahweh Shai coming back, man, with the slaughter. Okay, and he's gonna depopulate, man. Okay, so they shall not be lamented, neither gathered. No, man, there's gonna be bodies everywhere, man. Okay, that's why you heathen, okay, that survived this judgment. Okay, yeah, well, your judgment is going to be go to work, and one of your first duties is going to be to bury these bodies, man. It says, nor buried, they shall be dung upon the ground. Yeah, nothing, man. Consider like nothing, man. Just scrolled out. Okay, turn to powder. A lot of you finna be turned to powder. Okay, a lot of you finna be instant fertilizer, man. Okay, at the return of Yahushua. So let's go back to Luke. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, and verse 27 said, then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Okay, so our redemption draw nigh, man. We in the time, man. Hey, we can look up. You know, there's another thing too, man. Said lift up your heads, which, you know, there's literal, lift. We always looking up. The chariots, looking up. But then in the spirit, man, we know it's this time, man, and we should have our heads up, man. These people are depressed and languishing. No, our heads should be held high, man, in these times, man, because our redemption draws nigh. It's close, okay? And the only thing left is for this devil, to come on with his MOTB, okay, before this war just goes crazy on this nigga, man. Okay, so let's I want to play this little clip just from the brother channel, the Hopeful Leg 3, the brother Yaquab. So let's go here.
And I ain't gonna lie, y'all better get out here and stay prayed up. Y'all better stay prayed the fuck up. If y'all haven't been looking on social media is you feel me? It's a good resource other than the news. We got a lot of shit going around, circling around social media about this neurological chip or contactless payment from chip or certain things of chip this, chip that. That's the mark of the beast right there. I don't care what nobody say. It's about time. We have come to the end, really, for real. When you sit down and really in Revelations, we in Revelations right now. Everything is chip this, chip that, robot this, Android this, AI this. Yeah. Y'all better stay prayed up out here. I pray for every last one of us. But this shit about to go down.
And it's so plain to see. It's so plain to see. And like I always say, just knowing about it, that's not the end game. See, we gotta come back to our power. You see, what I'm saying? A lot of people watch, and run to the internet, as if they got this, this exclusive information, But at the end of the day, man, all right, it's plain to see, and it's becoming common knowledge about the MOTB. And if you're following the guy, all right, in 2026 who's telling you that the MOTB is anything other than what it is, which is the RFID microchip, okay, which is going to link you, okay, to this digital public infrastructure, okay, to surveil you with AI, okay, to have complete control over you, man, okay. So this man can pretend to be the Most High with his technology, man, okay. And if you're not being put, okay, if you're not being taught that All right, it's 2026 and you're not being taught that, man. You're being set up for failure, man. Okay, for complete failure out here, man. You see? we at the end, man. The only thing left is the end. Okay, the only thing left is the end, man. This is it. Okay, 2nd Ezra 7:33, it says, and the Most High shall appear upon the seat of judgment, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. You see that? And Yahweh Shai, he's going to appear on that chariot, you know, and remember, he's coming in the stead of his father. Okay, he's coming as the top representative of his father to execute judgment. That's why he's coming on that judgment seat, that chariot, man. All right, which is going to turn the militaries of the earth into powder. Okay, people into powder. Okay, add more fire on America. Okay, and misery shall pass away, and the long suffering shall have an end. Yeah, the long suffering of the elect. You see, because now it's going to be in this time when because also in that judgment seat, he's going to change, all right, the elect into immortals. You know, there's going to be a judgment he's going to make when he comes as well. Okay, so Yahweh Shai going to be getting busy. He's going to be judging from the chariot, man. You know, whether it's in mercy or whether it's in wrath. You know, and misery shall pass away for the elect, man. Because this is misery, man. This is hell, man. This ain't for us, man. This shit is not for us, man. This is not our world. This is not our setup, man. Okay, this ain't for us. You see, but judgment only shall remain, truth shall stand, and faith shall wax strong. You see that? Judgment only shall remain. The only thing left is for Yahweh Shai to come and judge, man. Okay, the stage is set for Yahweh Shai to come judge, man, in mercy and in wrath. You see, this is where we at with it, man. Okay, so let's, say faith shall wax strong, man, because as we see, you know, the power of the Lord, the things that we've been reading and rehearsing and teaching, as we see these things happen real time, man, our faith is going to skyrocket more and more, man. You know, all the way until the time of Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 35, it says, and the works shall follow, you know, the works of, all right, the hopeful elect. You see, which we're performing through faith, and it's his spirit that's on us, that Holy Spirit that's influencing us, going back to what? That pure influence. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 7. Okay, towards the end, it goes into how his wisdom is a pure influence, man. And the reward shall be showed, and the good deeds shall be of force, and wicked deeds shall bear no root. Okay, so the good deeds are going to see what we're doing now, man. It's going to be a force in that day. Serving the Lord now, it's going to be a force for us in the times of calamities, man. Leading all the way up to the deliverance. You know, and the wicked deeds, all this wicked accomplishments of this world and accolades of this world, it's not going to bear any rules. It's not going to have any merit, man. Okay, it's all in vain, man. Everything done in wickedness is done in vain. Okay? How Shai begins to judge, all right? Wickedness is everything done in wicked, no matter what you accomplish, a billionaire, gazillionaire, whatever you is, man, it ain't going to matter, man. Okay, so yeah, that's the point. I'll leave it there. You know, just want to tap in, you know, respond to that video real quick. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified, once again, want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessing salutations to the whole flesh. Shalom.